wasn't asking anyone to laugh. Goodness me, I don't want pity laughs. I'd much rather groans than pity laughs. So I'm all right. We're live. All right. As I said before, very funnily in New Brighton and New York. Right. Let us say our opening karakia. Whakataka te hau i ki whakataka te hau i ki tōna, kia mā kina ki pita, kia mā tāra ki tai, e hi haki ana te tātaka, e tino e uka, e hau, tihei mauri. Right, I forgot to do my welcome. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Paul McMahon, I'm the chairperson. Welcome to the meeting. All right, everybody. We welcome to the Waitai Community Board meeting. We have an apology for early departure from Yanni. Do we have any other apologies? No other apologies. Would someone like to move? Moved by Jackie, seconded by Kelly. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against, carried. All right, thank you. Do we have any declarations of interest? No. Yeah.
Just to note that I'm a patron of the Woolston Community Library, so I'll step aside.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What item is that for?
Item 9.
Okay, thank you.
Item 9.
All right, thank you. Any others? No. Thanks, Yanni. I move to confirmation of the previous minutes.
Happy to move.
Minutes of the 7th of April, moved by Jackie, seconded by Greg. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. So now we're going to move to item number 14 first. This on account of start having another place need to be. Invite Steve and Nick.
Libby.
Oh, sorry. Before we do that, we need to resolve to accept the supplementary. Moved by Tim, seconded by Celeste. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. All right, thank you. Welcome. I'd like to give us a rundown. I'm sure there'll be some questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think late last week I wasn't planning to be here, but now we're all here, so good to see you all. So what we're here for really is for the board to endorse a trial under a TMP for the some nighttime parking restrictions on the main street, Broad Park Street, off Broad Park Road. The issue, there's been a few issues here. The issues have been raised by Councillor Donovan through a notice of motion. At the same time, they've been raised through to council by the residents themselves, and we've decided to try and take some action quickly to see if we can impose a trial, see if it works. While we're doing the trial, we'll get some feedback, we'll do some consultation, and then we'll bring a report back to you as a board for a decision on whether to proceed formally on that within about 3 months' time. So that's roughly where we are. So staff have delegation to implement it under a TMP, but rather than just doing that, we'd like the board endorsement first of that approach.
So just want to clarify. So this is only about parking. And it's about what was raised at the public forum. So we're restricted to just being able to make this particular decision. And because it's a very short notice, we don't have information, we can't really alter it. It's either a yes or a no.
That's correct.
Yeah. And that we were expecting a memo about the other wider parking issues at the end of the month. So
that's my understanding, yeah.
Right. I don't have any specific questions, but I know coastal members will. Joe?
I'm happy to move it.
Oh, you're happy to move it. Do we have any? Oh, that's noted. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Celeste. Do we have any questions before we move? Celeste.
Thank you for coming in and also preparing this. It's great to see a response to the feedback provided by the residents so quickly. I didn't see in the report the exact location of the car parks. Is it possible to get a bit more information about that? I assume it's either side of the property.
Yeah, that's coming up. Yep.
So she is that they are sort of in the middle of that without specifying which house exactly. But great. And if at the end of this process the feedback was in favour of this going ahead, the board resolved to do that, to make it permanent, but the feedback was say, make it wider or smaller or some adjustments. Is that an option at that stage?
It would be, yes, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Kelly and then Yanni.
I'm just looking for it here. Have you had any details on exactly how you would apply that? Would it be, so like if someone was parking there to visit one of the properties for a couple of hours, would they be able to park there overnight, just for, but not completely the whole night? I think just for a couple of hours. How would that work?
So through the chair, the restrictions are from 10 till 7. Just a sort of cautionary note is we don't, our enforcement team don't work overnight, but we do have security officers who provide a sort of on-demand enforcement response. That's more around safety related issues. So if somebody's driveway is blocked or somebody's blocking an entrance, that's safety, because if somebody suddenly needs to drive to hospital, for example, they can't get out. So they are complaint reactive. So our enforcement is going to be minimal to begin with, but that's sort of the purpose of doing the trial. What I'd hope is by signposting this, any people who use that bay, those bays at the moment, would be hopefully good citizens, see the signs and not park there. And I'm sure we'll through this process we will be collecting data as well to try and determine if people are overstaying or not.
It's also part of the intention to only do a selection of the about 20 of those parking days. So the others will still be available for people to use overnight, but just around where the red boundary is.
Okay.
All right, Yanni.
Yeah, thanks. I just had, two questions. One was, why not just make the whole, like when I look at the map, I see other people that may be impacted. And I'm worried that you'll just displace it outside other properties. So I was interested to know why you just select the ones in the middle, not the whole stretch. And the second question is, I'm also keen to know what the mitigation would be on the closest to the residential parking. Because if, I was just wondering what happens if people just park on the other side of the road, which is even closer to residential.
To answer your question, councillor, partly that's why we're doing this as a trial, just to see what the impacts will be. Through the trial, we may learn that there is a big displacement, or there may not be. The other side is we haven't done any consultation or engagement yet. We're going to do that through the trial process. Through that process, quite a few of those residents may want to be able to park outside all night, similar to the question Councillor Barber asked. In all probability, there will be people parking along that road at some point overnight, whether they're residents or not. So we just don't know what the impact's going to be, and we don't know what the feedback from the residents is just yet. But we will collect all that information
And
before we present a formal report.
the side of the road where the houses are, we've elected not to do that because the evidence we've got from the affected residents is photographic evidence on the parking, the angle parking on Parkside. So until we get further information from nearly consultation, we've opted to go
a supplementary to that. In terms of the complaints, have all of the complaints been within that 20 spaces in the middle, or has it been from other properties around other car parks?
We've only got complaints from one residential house.
So I guess it's the essence of a trial is that you do something and you see what happens, and then you make your final decision on the basis of that.
Yeah, I guess I presume if it does create some additional nuisance to other people, then you'd have the ability to act quite quickly as well. You wouldn't need to wait for the 3 months, Steve, would you?
Where do you draw the line? Because it just moves the extreme.
Yeah,
Well, it was not the debate.
through the chair, we wouldn't be able to terminate it. It'd be done under a traffic management plan, which is a staff delegation. But because of the nature of it, we wanted to come to you to seek enforcement. But if it did all go pear-shaped, we could terminate the trial quite easily.
And that is much appreciated coming to Joe's.
Yeah, thank you. I would have liked to see the whole lot have a trial, because there are complaints about the ones closer to the cafe. And I know when we go to park run, because it's held at the back of that on a Saturday morning, there are campers down there. But also my concern is that enforcement has stopped for the year now, hasn't it?
The summertime freedom camping enforcement has stopped. That stopped.
But
So how are we
this
going
is
to
parking.
monitor?
This is parking, not freedom camping. So enforcement of parking hasn't stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you still monitor the.
Yes, and
the
parking restrictions will
parking
apply to all vehicles, not
Kind of
just to
as you
vans.
were with freedom camping?
No, there's a summertime enforcement.
So
with regulatory
it won't
guidelines.
be daily or in the evening or anything, or?
So through the chair, these are normal parking restrictions that will apply to any vehicle, and they're normally dealt with through our parking enforcement team, not the people who do the freedom camping enforcement. So our parking enforcement team don't work overnight, but we do have security who work on their behalf for complaint reactive issues. If we get a number of complaints about people abusing these parking restrictions, that's when we will then send out the security team to go and investigate for us.
So we won't really have the data to monitor this properly unless people complain.
I think we'll probably try and collect some of our own data to make it as a robust report as possible.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
and we want the submissions through as well once we go out for public
Okay,
consultation.
thank you.
All right, I'm happy to put that now. So thank you very much for your work and coming to the board. All those in favour say aye. Against, carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll go to the public forum now. So we have, do we have Dean here? Pardon?
Unable to attend.
And Casey. Hi, Casey.
Hi.
Yeah, so our public forum is 5 minutes for people to
Cool.
come to, and so 5 minutes including questions.
I don't know if I've time for questions, but hopefully I'll cover it all. So I
Right, cool.
just wanted to introduce myself and tell you all what I've been up to in the last year. Got a wee slideshow to go along with it.
You send that through to me?
Yes.
Let me
Right. Hopefully, otherwise I'll
That's
just,
all right, your time hasn't started.
that's okay, I'll just read out my.
And
I apologize.
you,
That's okay,
you get an extra minute.
maybe I can have questions.
We ask questions while she's doing that.
But yeah, about,
Yes, I have, yeah, but I'm closer now, I just have no garden. Yeah. Or maybe. Yeah,
Oh, we have copy doing.
good, yeah, she's got a new bed, so that made it. Yeah, doesn't like change, so,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
No,
moving wasn't very good.
You go park it, that's popping, that's some poppy.
No,
all right, we good?
there it is.
There it
Real
is.
good.
Okay,
So sorry about that.
just say go when you press go, the timing.
When you're ready.
Cool. Hello, my name is Casey, and I started Growing New Brighton as a way to help bring back beauty to our mall, as I believe that things don't change if you don't lend a hand. There you go. I aim to start with the planters around the food truck area in the markets, as the succulents that were in them were really messy, and I got sick of hearing people say that Brighton looked messy. With living costs rising, I wanted to plant things that are both edible and useful, such as herbs and vegetables. And I also use educational signs to let you know how to use. Needing to raise funds for all the plants and compost, I started doing fun activities at the Seaside Market. It gets the whole family to join in and they're creative while they're learning. I then started helping to maintain the gardens out the front and beside 105. Adding some sculptural things, unfortunately that one is no longer with us, and more beautiful and edible plants. As another fundraiser, I organised a teddy bears picnic in the Rāwhiti domain for the community as a free, fun thing to do and to get the Growing New Brighton name out there. I have had the scouts down to help with weeding. The 6-year-old boys are really good with weeding. And I also let them try edible flowers, which was fun for them to experience. course, the Christmas parade is a great form of advertising and community spirit, as well as letting me get creative, and I get to make a float and I get to dress up.
Pretty good flow.
Thank you. My bumblebees were just. I really enjoy sharing my ideas and knowledge with all ages, and I continue to have activities and crop swaps at the market, recently joining on the Ocean Alley events. That was really cool. The council have let me tend a few more gardens at the end of Carnaby Lane, and over the summer we grew plenty of courgettes to share, and now there are winter vegetables and flowers. I like to make sure the plants I use are seasonal to always be useful to everybody. Although currently a few have go missing, which costs extra to replace. I have opened the make station down the back of 105 about 2 months ago as a base for Growing New Brighton and a place to hold different workshops. We have herbal tea workshops, making fairy gardens, seed paper, anything to do with nature and gardening. With the aim is to host one workshop every week for all ages and abilities. And that was our herbal drying rack workshop, which was really cool, and it made the whole place smell amazing. It's good fun. We have an after-school gardening club, which is actually on every week now because it's growing in popularity. It's on every Tuesday, and we've started growing some new plants for the kids to plant out. And we have a few school holiday activities as well. A group called Recreate, which is for teens and young adults with disabilities that my daughter attends. They attend with their gardening group. They have a garden in Richmond Community Gardens as well. And I'll be hosting them for a few more workshops in the upcoming weeks. We made seed balls there. It was so much mess. It was so good. The local play centre group, Beach Tots from the Great Vineyard Church, host me once a term for seasonal nature activities with the kids, and I really enjoy this one. We put autumn leaves on a parachute and just throw them everywhere. It's so much fun. The local Rafiti Primary School have also let me join in on their Friday fun activities. I'm now helping with the winter school sports program at the New Brighton Community Gardens as well. The Make Station is available for other local creatives to hire and host their own workshops. I had a friend down from Blenheim who actually hired it, and we had a macrame workshop, which was really cool, really retro. I really think that I found my community and my purpose, and I enjoy sharing my growing love, and I love talking to and meeting everybody while I'm out there gardening. So just wanted to share with you guys.
Oh, cool. Thank you. If you have one question, but firstly, I can say it's great to have just so much positivity and just going out there and doing something like that. I always often talk about how that's democracy in action. You know, us all taking ownership about making our community a better place. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it looks so messy.
Yeah.
Do something about it.
Yeah.
Pick that bit of rubbish up.
That's really all. I didn't really have a question. I just want to say.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Does anybody have any questions?
Say thank you, Kathy.
So-
She does a wonderful job.
Okay, one question from Esther.
Yeah, just echo the sentiment of thank you for
Oh, that's okay.
going. Is there anything that, you know, do you feel like you could do with some help with?
It's kind of why I come to show you all about what I've been up to, because I know there's upcoming funding that we're applying for, so that way you'll know exactly what it's going towards. And
That's great.
yeah, the Teddy Bears picnic actually that I hosted last year was created out of one soup from the Driftwood Council. So they host the event where someone wins the pot of money, and I got to win it, so I got to put it towards that event. So that was really, really helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We will go to item number 8 now, because we're just waiting on the wastewater treatment plant team to come, so we'll go back to that briefly. So this is the Bamford Street proposed. Yeah. Do we have a seconder?
Yeah.
Do we have any questions?
Yes.
Yanni and Jackie, or Jackie and me?
It's moved by Jackie, seconded by Yanni, and no questions? No, thank you very much. I'll put that now. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. And we're still waiting on the noise treatment plant, so go to the funding applications. This is the one you're standing aside from, Yanni. Moved by Jackie,
Seconded by Tim.
seconded by Tim. No discussion or questions? No? Okay, all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. And then the item number 10. The next one is the Te Wharetonga or Ngāi Katoa Limited Resource Centre.
I'll move that.
Move, any discussion or questions? No, moved by Tim, seconded by Jackie. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carry. I'll just give. I'll just give Jackie a
Yeah.
item number 11. Do we have a mover and second for that, or any questions?
I've got questions.
Questions, all right, so that means Emily.
Just, we need one of you now.
Outside.
Just sitting there, public forum.
Oh,
She's been really worried about your grilling her today.
All right, let's not.
No, I only did that. so that the-
Take questions, everyone put their hand up.
Oh, yeah, she's done.
Oh, okay, I'm just going to adjourn the meeting for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
All right.
okay.
We don't.
And I click my fingers and Emily appears. All right, thank you, Emily. So we have some questions about, but those people who have just joined us, we are on item number 11, which is the Federal Fund application for the Enviro Hub stormwater trailer. And we have some questions of staff. So Joe and then Tim.
Yep, so the first thing, like, why do they want funding for most of the people at events do it voluntary?
So they bring, I guess, the stormwater trailer, which comes at significant cost. They umbrella a lot of different groups and help them apply for funding. So they don't actually apply a lot for funding themselves. So the stormwater trailer, in a way, is their kind of bread and butter. They take it to events and they charge a fee for that. They were covered for a set amount of events to start with through the Waterships Partnership. And that money quickly ran out. So they after they recently moved to Climate Action Campus, they approached our board area and sort of said, look, we don't want to go into the normal funding streams because that's what we help our groups that we look after apply for money through those funding streams. But we do want to get the stormwater trailer out there and be working in communities that don't often engage with that sort of education. And so we discussed all the different kind of options. And again, wanted to steer clear of the usual, the DRS, the strengthening communities, because that's where they help their groups the umbrella apply to. So yeah, kind of landed on better off. Given that it was a big tick in the board plan, it seemed to be like a really good fit.
Given that it's quite a big amount, well, I think it's quite a big amount, like $1,800 just to go to one event. How many people do they pay to go to an event?
So I believe they have 3 facilitators there.
Just 3?
Because there's lots of different kind of components to the games they run and the education, they give out prizes, that kind of thing.
Okay. And with that, like I was just looking at, they must be set up with the trailer and have a routine in place so they don't have to do too much planning. And you said like planning goes into this.
Yeah, they plan for the, I guess, the community they're targeting. So it's very different depending what the event looks like and what sort of games they offer or interactions they kind of offer.
Okay. Because I just worked it out, if they pay people like $50 an hour, that's 35 hours. And an event usually takes about, what, 5 hours at most?
Yeah, I believe there'll be a lot of stuff behind the scenes in what they do.
Right.
They broke it down, but yeah, the cost I wrote into the application, that was what they're giving me. Yep.
She answered my questions.
Right. Any other questions? No.
Oh, sorry, I had one.
Oh,
Sorry, my computer died, so I'm kind of operating a little bit in the dark, but it's probably in the report, but well, is it just for, I think it's a great initiative. Well, is it going across the city? Like where will it be?
They are working across the city, but so this was just for our area.
Okay, cool.
They've done quite a few events, but again, they're already environmental ones. And they want to target people who don't normally care about what goes in the water.
Yeah.
So they're going to work with us. So we get quite a lot of autonomy on like suggesting what events they go to. So obviously we'd love to see the Walston Gala, that kind of thing. So targeting communities where they wouldn't normally get environmental sort of agenda.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Right. One last question from Joe.
Yes.
So I take it we as council don't do this kind of thing, like educating people about the stormwater?
Not sure what stormwater, there's the learning action team who do a lot of education around environmental things, but not on the water quality, to my knowledge.
So the council
I can double check that.
Already educating people in this kind of thing?
In the environmental space,
Yeah.
there's heaps of lots of sessions that they do in
Okay.
schools,
Yeah.
but not necessarily at events, I guess.
Okay.
We have the waste management team come to events and yeah, like a Free Waters team, they have been involved with this group anyway. But yeah, it's quite the Storm Water Heroes trail is quite unique, that kind of thing.
Okay.
All right.
I'd like to move the recommendation.
Moved by Tim, seconded by Celeste. All right, no debate. Those in favour say aye. Against, carried.
I'll record my vote against, please.
Oh, sorry. So still carried, but you would like it noted down? Yeah. Right. So the next item is the area report.
We can do Ramsey, former. That's what.
Oh, Ramsey, would you like to join us at the end of the table? We're going to move on to, let's pass now. Thank you. Yep.
Oh, we thought we're going, where are we?
Yeah, so back to the briefing. As a reminder, this is just about the operation of the plant, not about any of the other issues. So, all right, floor is yours.
Our clicker's not working, so just tell me next slide.
Yep, sure. Yep. Hi, everyone. I'm Ramsey. I'm the process engineer on site. Just on behalf of Adam Tools to present today, and also sending his apologies because he got some other issue that wouldn't be able to come today. So, yep, the next slide, please. The agenda for today's presentation will be touch about our odor monitoring results, our odor monitoring update, and our pest control update, oxidation ponds update, midge control update, and our recent dryer maintenance update, and also our odor product trial update as well. And also lastly with the website update. Next slide, please. So yeah, all our odor monitoring result is all online, is all on the website. Feel free to go to the website and everything will be there. Next one. This is our latest odor monitoring result. As you can see, it's pretty low, and I presume that because we are not doing too bad, and therefore you guys don't want to ask us too much question. Next slide, please. So in comparison, our current results versus last year, we in both periods is pretty low, but this year seems to be slightly even slightly lower. So next slide, please. So yeah, one of the feedback from our last community meeting, it was asked to consider relocate one of our older loggers to Shortland Street. We have go back to our older experts and we discuss and then we realized, yep, there will be one that we can move to the Shortland Street. Now we're just finalizing the appropriate location that we can put it to the Shortland Street area, and we will provide further updates as we get along. The next one will be next slide, please. We also have a request to increase the pest control because of the rat and the complaint. We have talked to our parks team. They have talked to their pest control contractor, and they have already relocated some of the existing base station nearby the fence line area, and they increase their monitoring as well. So what they say is, if needed, they can also consider increasing more pest control base station. But so far, we haven't heard any complaint yet, so we presume that is working well. Next slide.
I haven't heard any back from the people who brought the problem up. I don't know if any of the other Linwood members have. No, so that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Do we know how many rats we've got?
Yeah, don't know. There's the contractor to do the pest control. Yeah. And yeah, but you can ask more question later.
Sounds like a little winner. All right.
Yep. So just an aerial image for our treatment plant, and this is for you to compare for our current treatment plants. Next slide, please. The one we have previous slide is taken back in before 2024 December. This is the new picture today. As you can see, the site has some change. The treatment filter is now fully gone, and as later on we have more updates, we will take more pictures and to show everyone. Next slide, please. So in terms of the oxidation pond aerator update, last month we don't have any planned maintenance, but we have a couple reactive maintenance to do. Yep, we are continuously working closely with our contractor to ensure the continuity of the aerators. Next slide, please. So we have two types of aerator. One is the directional to control the flow direction. The other one is the surface aerator. So far, this type of aerator working okay for the last month. So we have a fully operational 16 fully operational aerators for this type of aerator. Yep, next one, please. So just also provide a further update. Based on our assessment, we think that we will need this aerator for long term, and because please keep clicking. Yep, just click it to the end. The reason for that is because the activated sludge will be delivered by estimated about 2029, but we also have further follow-up works after that activated sludge to be done. It's beneficial to have the aerator continuously operating, and we have asked our supplier to see whether they are prepared to extend the contract, and so far they are not prepared for that yet. But alternatively, we also work actively internally to prepare any gaps between the expiry date and the times that we need to operate the times that we need the aerators. Yep, just to give you an update on this, and yeah, we will continuously providing updates in terms of the aerator status. And next slide, please. In terms of the pond's health, we are now in the winter mode, as you can see. So the pond is now turning from green to brown, and the algae become decreased, and the dissolved oxygen is dropping as well, and it's showing the biological activity is also decreasing. Yeah, but we will continuously monitoring the pond's health. Next slide, please. In terms of because last month we have a very heavy rain event, and as you can see, normally before the big peaks on the left-hand side of the graph, we are having about two tons per second of water coming in. But in the heavy rain events, we are triple our float, and the left-hand side is the pictures to show how full our ponds. But it is all within operational, so the flow there is all normal, just to demonstrate how full the pond it is. So we are able to handle the pond's operation, and we didn't have any issue during the heavy rain events. Next slide, please. So in terms of the milch control update, we are currently still working closely with our capital delivery team, and we need to reevaluate the time frame. But on top of that, we are also have the consideration of have the external visibility of the data as well. So yeah, we are working with our capital delivery team closely to deliver this project. Next slide, please. The other updates we can provide is last month we have our dryers maintenance works, enabling works. Back in 2024, we have identified our sludge dryer as one of the potential smell odor source. The sludge dryer is quite a critical process for our treatment plants because
It's like a lower half,
yeah, kind of. It is a critical step to handle all the sludge is produced from our wastewater, and then we kind of dry it from a very wet jelly type of sludge to become a dry sludge that we can send out for beneficial reuse. So yeah, the dryer was built back in 2010 and is due for overhaul maintenance. And every day is handling about 40 to 50 tons of biosolids, which is quite substantial. Next slide will show, yep, so if a dryer doesn't perform well, the left-hand side picture will be the example. We will have a wet biosolid accumulate on site, and that could potentially be a odor source, but yeah, we try to minimize this situation happen. So in our inspection, for our enabling works, we have a very comprehensive inspection. The picture in the middle is just an example of a confined space entry. So we send a person get into the confined space and take all the pictures and do all the inspection. And the right-hand side is the report that our contractor have provide us. We continuously working quite closely with our project delivery to also ensure this maintenance project being delivered on time and smoothly. And also we will provide more updates as time goes as well. We are currently just in the enabling work stage. Next slide, please. In terms of the odor trial, we are in the stage 3. We have sent out our engagement letter, and we are currently just waiting for the products from our supplier. We're just waiting for one more supplier to deliver his product, and after that we will start our odor trial, and we will provide further updates as we go. And next one. And also, because in the last community meetings, we have question on showing the wastewater treatment data. In fact, we do have that in our website. We have a track record of our annual report, which is publicly accessible. And also we have our quarterly report as well. So every quarterly report, we will put it into the website. And then once the whole annual report is ready, then they will be combined into an annual report. And in terms of our monitoring, the table shows what we are monitoring as our regular tests. And yep, so next one, please. Yep, that's all the updates I can provide. And any question?
Right, thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Yeah,
Thank you. Do we have an update on the additional sensors
For
for monitoring the odor in Shortland Street?
yes, that's the one. That's the one that we will move one of the sensor to Shortland Street rather than have an additional sensor.
Oh, I think we would like an additional sensor. So how can we get one?
I will need to go back and check with Adams to see what we can do. Because the idea is relocate one of that to Shortland Street.
I think
but it seems like it's quite like there'll be an internal budget and they would need to fund it. So
I think the concern from the community liaison group was it was good to have the benchmark and the baseline of the existing one. And it would be good to have the additional one. So my understanding from the community was they weren't supportive of us just relocating one. They think it should be an additional one to make sure that we've got good measurements.
I thought I said there was an additional one.
I think we can probably, through the chair, sorry, I think Adam's aware of that because obviously he was at the meeting, so maybe we can just follow up with Adam rather than try and.
yeah, I mean, I think that was that I'm surprised to hear that there's not an additional one. So it'd be good to figure out what's going on. Okay. All right, cool. Any other questions? No. All right. Well, thank you very much, Ramsey.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Good job.
So we have a mover and seconded to receive. Moved by Greg, seconded by Kelly. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. All right, so now we have areas report and then last but not least after that, elected members information exchange.
So as usual, it's a really good report that the team have put together, and take as read, as Alex loves to be saying, but rather than try and read it to you. One thing just to point out, the next board meeting in June, that will be the last one for the financial year, so you get the figures through. We're getting pretty close to spending those budgets. But yeah, so that'll be the last meeting for a few months that we get your DRS, and the team are busy. Strengthening Communities is open now. It closes in, I think, weeks or the end of the month. So just bear in mind there'll be quite a push for the team assessing those because we get a lot of applications. And then those will be reviewed in August.
All right. Any questions of Chris? Question from, so moved by Jackie. Do we have a seconder for the report? All right, seconded by Alex. So when we come to that, but yeah, here's a question.
Just wanted to check if we've had a date for the Eastern Region Sport 10-year celebration. It said that they're going to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of 2025. Is there an event or is it just an ongoing thing?
Sam, do you want to-
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, cool.
This is for the Winter Sports Festival. Thanks. I think there's a celebration.
Right, okay.
I'll be back to you.
And I just thought, like, I don't know if it's appropriate, but it might be nice to look just to like a little acknowledgement. Because it's pretty amazing the work that they've done. And I was going to check with I mean, if it's not appropriate, yeah, feel free to say, but the sports network plan, there's been a whole bunch of priorities that have been identified now. And I don't know what the process is for the community to give feedback, but I'm mindful that there's some of the fields, some of the ones, some of the deputations we've had from different groups may have an interest in what's been proposed. So I'm just wondering, are we aware of any process by which the board will be able to see what's been proposed for prioritisation and then able to align that with the community feedback that we've heard?
I don't
was gonna say, I'm not aware that there is a specific process, because as the council's not having hearings on it, correct?
There's no consultation on the sports network plan, so there's no public
There's
consultation.
no public consultation.
So there's no ability for anyone in the public to, or even local clubs, other than going through the regional sports organisations, who have put together their list of priorities, as I understand it, which staff have then taken on board and come up with a plan. I thought there was going to be some part of the process where the community boards would be kind of.
So you're no doubt aware that, that's the same information. We don't have any other different information. So the answer to that is no.
Okay, because we did have, like, when Carl's came and the lights from Coastal were being moved, we did raise that question of, can we get a sense of what's happening in terms of the sports network plan? So, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
It's cool.
we continue to raise these issues, and there's apparently been taken into consideration, but we don't have any way of knowing whether that's the case or not. So,
and just a final question from me, and I know staff have done staff doing amazing work working with the local events. Is there anything you think we could do around House of Hoops? Like, is there any lessons we can learn from that, or any support we can give to that? I did go to some of the events, and I was just wondering if there was anything we could do to be more supportive of them.
there is an event in Bromley coming up near the end of May as well.
I don't know if that's something you just want us to provide you maybe some feedback after rather than now, but otherwise I've got the team here if you've got any comments in particular around the House of Food stuff. It depends what you're looking for, I guess, is it?
Like the whole big one to me was the condition of the basketball courts, right? It's like not having nets at certain, but then maybe that's just working with the organisers ahead of the event, which I think we did the final.
So I think that might be good to pass that stuff on in writing. Yeah, because there's not, we don't really have, it's not really
not easy to answer on the phone.
Yeah. Or if a series of questions from you that to the staff would be helpful. I mean, I agree about
at a general level, I guess the question is there a debrief that's been held with the people that organise House of Hoops? And if so, or if not, can we just get, if there's any feedback that we need to be aware of as a board, maybe we could just get that in and then most, I don't think I need to put lots of questions in. But
cool. Any other questions of staff about this? No, so that's been moved by Jackie and seconded by Alex. Yep, I'll put that now. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. So now we've got just under 10 minutes for a members information exchange. I just wanted to raise something for your consideration. So you would have seen possibly an article in the newspaper today featuring me looking grumpy. And every time I go into one of those interviews, they say, look grumpy. So do you think you could fold your arms? But I am pretty grumpy about this again, having to fight this off. I would like, as a community board, we can appear under section 204 2B of the Sale and Supply of Alcohol Act in support of the community's opposition. So with your leave, I guess I would like to be able to do that. So that's not doing we're not objecting ourselves. We don't have that power, unlike a local board in Auckland, but we can go there in support of the community objections, of which there are already a number, and there's bound to be quite a few more. Is everyone comfortable with me doing that?
Sorry.
A question, yeah.
Sorry, I've seen the picture, but I haven't actually read the article yet. Which bottle store is it?
So it's the one on the corner of Gloucester and Woodham, the old,
Okay.
it's the old Canterbury Liquor one. It's got the same landlord as before. So the people who were stripped of their licenses, that was one of them. They haven't been able to, because the community have mobilised to oppose it being reopened under a new licensee multiple times now. I think it's, the short version was why it's unclear is because some people don't get as far to the public hearing, the submissions process, objections process, because they find out that there's quite a bit of opposition. So, you know, there's, and the licensing inspector and the health and the police have been just, you know, been pretty negative about applications there in the past. I anticipate they will be again. So I just would, you know, like us, and I know the people who live in live around Woodham Park in particular, feel quite strongly about this stuff. Yeah, so it would be just great if we could do that. And I'm happy to take care of all that.
Yeah, I fully support it.
Yeah, it's a.
All right, cool, thank you.
Your action.
Yeah, I picked that up. All right then, well, I will do that. It's because it's a bit different to a regular kind of thing, because what we're doing is we're going and saying, look, here are the community's concerns. You know, you'll hear them. We, the elected community board, are in favour. We can do that. This is because of these, where all of us are supporting that measure.
So I've just noted that it's just general support, so we're not in a position to make formal resolutions. And we haven't done it in the past, I don't think, but I can go back and have a look for like just majority support for the board to support a community group or community in opposition. But I will double check the process, and if we need to, we can retrospectively do something at the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it's under section 204. We simply write. So I'm happy to shadow this and then have put in a chair's report for the next board meeting, because the hearing won't be for a long time. I think that's probably the best way.
Yeah, we'll look into it more before we come back to the board formally, just in relation to that process, because I remember in the past we've had to write to the
to district licensing committee. So we have to get leave from them, because we don't have a because it's the council that is the legal person, and the council doesn't. The council could oppose, but the council is not. And because long story, but
we've got time, so
yes, we've got time. So probably what we'll do is we'll come with a formal decision to make at
the June meeting.
Yeah, the June meeting, because then we can write, but we'll find out anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember last time when the community board, the old Linwood Central.
Yeah, I was at that hearing. Yeah.
Board got involved. We just need to make sure that we go through the proper process at the start, because there was a lot of there was some quite awkward questions. But I'm very supportive. I just want to make sure we go through the right process.
Yeah,
I've done this 3 times. We'll go through the right process.
Yeah. So all right. Thanks. So we've got a few more minutes. If anybody has any, no, and then Kelly. Just Joe first, and then Kelly.
Sorry. Just a couple of things. The ECAN consultation for the consent's open, and I'm just wondering, would the board feed into that, or is it just a group and individual thing?
Well, I think because it's a council that's seeking consent, that we can't participate in that because we're part of the council.
Okay, I just wanted clarification whether we can actually do it, or whether as an individual you can put into it.
I believe that we could do it as individuals, but not as a community board.
Or members of the board.
Or members of the board.
So you can't do it as any capacity from the board's perspective. So you as a civilian.
I just thought it would be nice for the board to support it if we were able to.
Love to be able to, but.
Okay. And the other thing is the South Shore Boardwalk, or the boardwalk between South New Brighton and Caspian Street was damaged in the storm floods. And the community are quite upset that it may not get repaired, and just wanted some clarity as to, or confirmation that we will look at going to all extremes to actually fix it again, because it was lost in the earthquakes and they need to actually do quite a bit of advocating to actually get it back.
That would be a ticket that needs to be logged. That needs to be logged via a ticket. That's not.
It's all been logged via tickets and everything. It's all gone through. So I've just asked to be updated on that as it comes through, because that's one thing that they're quite passionate about, is maintaining that connection you know, everyone bikes and walks along there, so it's
Yeah.
really quite precious for them. And I got contacted last week about a smell in Lower Sticks Road in Spencerville. And it's a thing that's been going on for quite a few years, and I don't know if anyone else has been contacted over the years about it. It's coming up through the sewer pipe in the road. And it's actually going into some people's houses as well,
The odour is.
an odour, yeah.
Has anyone lodged a ticket?
Yeah, I've put it in
Okay.
on behalf of the people that contacted me. But I was also wanting to know, is there any history behind it?
Oh, just,
Does anyone know anything or not?
no, I haven't heard.
Okay, well, I've put in a request to find out how many reports have been put in the past and the history behind it. But it, they reckon it could have been happening further down towards Brooklands too, and they had their pipes done and it resolved the problem. But closer to Spencerville, they're still having that issue. So, yeah, just what I'd update you.
Right, anyone else? Yanni? Oh, sorry. Kelly, you may now go and then we'll be cutting it. Well,
Very, very briefly, I was speaking to the race director of the Coast to Coast today, and he's very keen for us to consider putting some kind of market down at the beachfront, just to mark that as where the Coast to Coast ends. He's kind of raised that with me before, and I don't know really where it's at or what would be the best process to actually encourage council to look at something like that. But I think it's something that we should perhaps, if we're all of the same mind, to actually encourage, because I think that it would be, I mean, the West Coast put us to shame. They've got a couple of pillars up there. They've got an engraved thing with all the names of the initial competitors in 1983. It is an internationally recognised event, and I think it will be, you know, something that could be, quite useful for the local community. So I'll just raise it with you. I'm not sure where we go with it, but I'll be mentioning it to the Mayor Philip Major tomorrow. So this has to go on.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I know that it came to the board and then there was an issue because it's on Facebook. So I've actually, I spoke to Christian Z. Rachel, who's leading a lot of the work, because actually we looked at doing it in a slightly different way. There's probably a way we can get traction on it. And I think she reached out to the race director, although maybe someone different. So would it be helpful if I asked her for an update to the board of where that conversation had gone into? Yeah.
That would be ideal. He said that Christchurch is never been into it.
Yes.
They just don't follow the budget.
I have an idea for the pillars too. We can have you on one and Glenn on the other.
And that could be.
Oh,
Yeah. But I certainly support the suggestion, so I think maybe if we get the information back before we start a new request, because sometimes that creates
That's a good idea.
confusion.
Yeah.
So you see sometimes.
Just keep your numbers up.
All right.
Yeah.
And Jan?
So I just want to let the board know that the issue with the green sludge and slime in St John Street is now going to be fixed by a transport maintenance team. This follows on from the issue being raised by me in September 2023, where I was hoping that we could have a meeting as a board with council staff and local residents to work through some solutions. But after being told that nothing could be done, and further complaints over several years, happy to report that the maintenance staff have now come up with some sort of solution which they're going to implement. Have to say the residents are pretty angry at the lack of timely action and response, and I've been following it up several times since 2023 to try and get action. So I'm glad that there's action. It took the mayor and I going out and doing a visit, and then suddenly it just out of nowhere it appeared that there was a solution and staff can now implement it. But it's
on the western side?
It's on the right hand side if you're going towards the coast. So anyway, the positive news is something's going to be done. I just think it does raise a question around our processes, and I'm not quite sure.
I'm interested in this.
There's a gap. So
because we were told that they were private wells, and therefore.
So I just wanted to bring it to your attention that apparently something's been done. I wasn't consulted on what the solution was or given the options about what could be done. I was just told that it was happening. And I thought I'd just share it with the board, given that I've raised it previously with the board and with board staff, but it does raise a concern to me that, you know, people having to escalate things to the mayor and make repeated complaints gets action other than the normal protocols which we're told to go through and that we try and abide by. So anyway, I'm glad something's happening. I do appreciate the mayor going and doing the site visit, and maybe as a result of that, that led to action. But yeah, I just think
I
it was
agree.
yeah, cool.
Because I asked about the same issue and it was like, well, it's private.
Yeah.
Therefore,
So,
You were swapped off and now the mayor's gone out and sorted it. Now you'll get a picture of the paper and go, look what I did.
no, I don't. I mean, he responded to complaints that he got, like any of us would as elected members. So I don't think you can put that on him. I think it's a question of the organisation. How do they respond to community board requests versus mayoral office requests? And it would be good. I've asked if there can be a debrief on it to kind of learn, because it's pretty unfair on those of us who go through the appropriate process to have that sort of response. And staff will know, like, and I'm sure board staff have repeatedly raised it when I've been raising with them to follow it up. But, you know, it does tarnish our reputations when people don't get timely responses. So anyway, the good news is apparently there's a solution, and apparently staff can just go away and do it. And I just want to make sure recordings are aware of it.
it is produced. All right. Well,
Very quick one.
yep.
It might be as an email, but it was just a request around the estuary edge stuff. My understanding is communities responding to the formal, the name of it, consent, notification. It's a really complex and clunky process. You have to print off something and then upload it again, and actually understanding how to engage with really complex materials. It's really hard for communities to get feedback. Is it possible to find out whether there's some process where there's a friend of submitter type thing where, because I actually think it's great that the SSRA have spent the time to do it and good on them, but it's probably, they've got a lot of scientists in that group, but other organisations that might want to submit might feel like it's difficult. So it'd be just good to know if there's a way that, because there's only so much time for them to
I think
give feedback.
because it's process that
Yeah.
might be quite difficult, rather than a council one that we
Yeah.
can sort of influence and change.
Are we able to ask through to Dave, or I can send through the email?
Send
Yeah.
your email and then we can talk with either
Cool.
Katie or Dave, because they'll have links in with we can, but it's just bearing in mind because of the process it will be, so we can give them the feedback.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? No. Well, in that case, the meeting will close with our karakia. Right one this time. Kia tau, te rangi e, o te rangi e tu i hone, o papatua i tapu tupune, o te taia i awhine, ki ronga i a tātou, ti hei i whaumiwa.